Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of Transport FIFA 2 India Edition. And we're back within New Delhi because last episode, guys, we kind of extended the transportation links within this city. We now have, let me put it back into play mode for a quick second. We now have these two extended lines coming from the elevated train station part of the central station, which now lead out to two towns. Now, I've still yet to get these connected up with an actual train going back and forth because we haven't really gone much further with it as of yet. We implemented two tram routes that go around as well. We got clockwise and counterclockwise, but I want to do something today, okay, which is going to be ridiculously crazy. Now, we all know New Delhi is going to go for a massive growth explosion. This city would technically be bigger than what it is right now. The only thing stopping it from being bigger now, before I do anything additional, is the fact that we have this big river running through the middle. If I got rid of that, it'll fill all in the center. It'll double the population size. But I'm not bothered about that too much just yet. Now, what I want to do is, before anything else, is I want to bring some cargo to it. Because I feel like the more I keep working with the public transportation network, the bigger the city is going to grow, the less room we're going to have to squeeze in the smaller stations. Now, what we did last episode is we quickly checked out where the cargo was going. This part of New Delhi wants goods. This part over here wants purely fuel. So do you know what I'm going to do, boys? We're going to bring some fuel to New Delhi. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a separate cargo train station within this area. And we are currently producing... Actually, no, I tell a lie. We're not producing any fuel. We are picking up oil here. And then we're dropping it over to these oil refineries. And then we're picking up the oil here. And then we're dropping it to these oil refineries. Then what we're doing is we've got a line that picks up the refined oil and takes it all the way up here to these fuel refineries, which they get the goods. They just don't produce any fuel just yet. But today they are. We're going to take fuel from here all the way to New Delhi. Now, it means we have to bring it all the way over, and then we have to turn to come all the way down. It's going to be interesting. So, guys, sit back, relax right now, and grab some snacks. Your boys ready to rock and roll. If you are enjoying the series, smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you are new right here so you get notified when more episodes do come out. Appreciate it, guys. And also, we've been heavy New Delhi lately. I reckon the next episode, we take a look elsewhere and do some more expansions. And, oh my goodness me, Sri Lanka. Colombo in Sri Lanka right now has got really big. But yeah, I know we've been heavy New Delhi, right? We'll bring some fuel down and we'll see how big the city will explode. So, first things first then, we need to implement a train station within here. Now, looking at it again, we can see the radius in which we have to utilize, or where we can pretty much deliver the goods. Now, all I need, because we're not actually picking any goods up from here, we don't particularly need a big station. But we need somewhere that's going to take advantage of the radius in which we can kind of collect. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to transform this bridge and this generic area. I'll get rid of this, and we'll actually get rid of the bridge here, and just to this junction of the road. And we're going to try and make the bridge go a little bit higher so I can run a train line. This is very slow to delete a bridge, isn't it? Like, goodbye, bridge. It was nice knowing you. It was nice knowing you right now. There we go. Because we're going to bring a train line down from the mountains along here, this river. So having a station here will be very, very centralized to where the fuel needs to be delivered. And if we can, we'll try and get the road to go over the actual train line or the train station, depending on how big we actually make it. So if I get the bridge now back in, and of course it's going to go that way. So what I want to do is I want to raise this up as quick as I can. So as soon as it turns itself into a bridge, which it does just there, and we'll change the style of the bridge to have bigger spacings, we'll bring this across, which it does feel fairly high, but like I said, this is we're going to transform this whole area. Right, delete you, delete you. We'll actually delete you to there. And then we'll run this. Can we do it on the bend? That'll be a bit better on the bend, wouldn't it? Hold up. There we go. Run it directly down. So the bridge is now back. It's elevated, which we can utilize it a little bit better. So I'm also going to delete this piece of road here. And we're going to try and situate this train station in. Really nice. Now, what I can do is I can either connect it directly to it, which is probably what I'm going to do. We're going to add 2 train tracks. And I think I might connect it to this road. And I'll tell you why in just a mo. Let me delete all this. So I know I'm deleting parts of the city, but it will eventually grow back, okay? It will eventually grow back. Bend this round. And I'm going to keep it like this for now. I'm going to implement the train. Actually, I need to push that back a little bit further, don't I? Right, delete this road, delete you. We're going to push it a little bit further back on this area. So, let's see. Coming off there. I don't want it to dip down. That's my next issue. It's not having the road dip down with the elevation change. So, I'm going to kind of bring it up. Oh, what happened there? That was really weird, wasn't it? All right, bring it to about there. I think that's about right. To about there. And then we're going to bend this round this way. So, a bit further back. And then the train station. Oh, the train station's still sunken down. So I think we still need to be raising ourselves up a little bit more. All right, to the ground, boys, to the ground. And then going through here. Does that look about right? I feel like it needs to be up a bit more. Right, we'll go there. There's a slight bump anyway, but I think we'll be okay. So what I want is this. No, it still needs to be pushed back a bit more. Come on, Seniac boy, what are you doing here? What are these games you're playing? Right, there we go. Hopefully that's it. Hopefully that is it. So the reason I wanted to pull it here is because, right, we need this to go through this part of the bridge. Now, we can place in larger stations. Oh, right, no. I've really messed up. I've really messed up here, boys. I think when I added that second road back in, I didn't elevate the road. I didn't elevate the road, did I? Right. Fingers crossed, this is the last time I've now got to... Oh, look, it needs to be pushed back even more. At this point, I'm going to cry. Right, let's just flatten the land. I'm having a right nightmare now here, aren't I? I'm having a right nightmare. Right, flatten the land. So bringing it out. So this is out, should all be flattened. Oh, now autosave kicks. Oh, you can see the difference of where the land is, where I'm currently completely off. Right, let's go wait for autosave now, guys. If it's not me messing up, it's now autosave coming in to slow your boy down. Right, there we go. All right, delete this. Because now I can just base the road off... Why is the game running slow all of a sudden? Right, now I can just base the road off the elevation that I've currently got. Okay, so... Run the road to here. Run it right round. Then down there. Station goes here. Perfect. Right, let's edit this then. So the reason I wanted it on this side is because, like I said, it's got to go through that little tunnel section, but we can always add the larger buildings onto it anyway, which is not a problem. Now, how many trains do you think we're going to have coming in? Do you reckon just having the 2 platforms is going to be more than enough? I think so, yeah. I think we'll be perfectly fine with all of this. Now, can we squeeze in an extra platform? We can either side, so we'll add in some train tracks. There we go. Now, the miscellaneous for the end building, is it possible in which we... Actually, do you know what? No, let's take these off. Because the other side of it is, cargo buildings, we could add in the end connection like that, so that becomes another form of connection and radius for this vicinity is the best way to put it. put this down here. So I go 1, 2 for a double large connection. And then we're just going to bring the road a little bit closer. So road-wise, just bring you slightly out. That's all I needed to do. And that is the radius. So it doesn't give us the full radius, but it will give us quite a large radius to now work with when it comes to spreading the cargo through the city. So everything around this semicircle here, we can then deliver fuel. Oh, New Delhi's going to have such a big growth spurt. It really is. So we'll keep it like that. It's up to us whether we kind of take it any further. I'm not too sure. I'm just going to smoothen this area off a bit right now because the way the land does drop off and the fact that we've had to raise it all as well. And we're going to smooth from the bottom because you might get some stuff that try to build off the road on that side. But that's up to them. Anywho, train tracks. Now, we're going to go high-speed train tracks, even though we most likely won't have high-speed trains. And we've got to figure out the way in which they're going to run. So I need them to kind of roughly go up into the mountains to run down in this direction. So maybe we should start here first and just kind of see where we end up. Now, we have a train line running in, but it uses the left-hand side. To be honest with you, it would be better if they used the right-hand side. It really would. So let me just get the Chrissy Crossies in here for this side. And they bend in, gloriously they bend in. But we want them to utilize this side. So then the outside can go pretty much straight to New Delhi. Now this is actually quite a big amount of infrastructure we're going to have to now implement. So you're directly in. You're directly in. Now that should have all gone to plan. But I got to change the platforms in which they currently run on. So manage the line. It gets to Mashhad and it needs to go to 1 and 2. Right. 1 and 2. And then that's back to normal pretty much. So, question then. Do we need high-speed trains or high-speed lines for the cargo? If I was to, let's say, for example, buy a train, which we have a depot just here. This is the issue I've got right now. It comes down to diesel. Now, if I do it by speed, so our fastest train here is 188 I could use to chug along the cargo. Now, the speed of the cargo train is destined by the speed capacity of the trailer, which we're going to have to use the tankers, which do 120. Now, it doesn't say, does it, what the specialized speed is. I don't know if we can get carriages above the 120 mark, but let's just say we could. So by that logic, we don't really need high speed here because they're not going to be doing any form of high speed. But I might as well invest into all of this and build it with high speed lines. So, tracks, here we go. We've got to run down. We're going to have to kind of slightly go past some of this stuff. So if I can get it to run just along here, this might be our longest train line yet. This truly is going to be our longest train line to date. Right, running this in a straight line. So I'm going to run that in a straight line to at least there. And then we have to perform the bend. Now, the distance between the two train lines connecting now shouldn't really be that detrimental to the point where it can maintain its high speedness, which can go up to 300 miles an hour. There is no way in the world our cargo trains are going to be going to that speed. Well, if they needed to, they could, boys. They could. Right. Let's see how far we can push this right now. I can see there being many, many bridges and tunnels being involved. All right, let me get to there. Anything get created? It's a pretty nice incline going up. And then we're going to be inclining on the way down. Or declining is the best way to pull it, right? So we've got the mountains now, which is going to be interesting. I don't want to create a bridge like that. So we'll go to here. There's a little bridge that gets created there. I'm going to get rid of that. We'll terrain that. But we will create a bridge leading up. Let me go to there with the bridge, and we'll go for... suspension's too much. We'll go for that style of bridge over that larger valley. Look at the incline it has to go through. So coming across this now. So in a straight line, you're going to get a little bit of everything now kind of ticking along. So if I just kind of go through all of this to about... Because I don't want the bridge to be that high where it looks slightly ridiculous. Oh, I do like these bridges. Obviously, you've got to change the speed of them. So change the style of them so you can get the speed of the train going through. So that's nice. That's a nice big one there. And then we've got this one here. All give us the ability to kind of travel at 300 miles an hour. So there is a few little dips and stuff. That's just how it is. There's a big kind of brow as it kind of goes all the way over. But I like it. Now, this, like I said, is the biggest train line I'm going to be building. So I expect us to make some serious cash out of this. How far have I got? I'm only at Kabul. I've got to get all the way over there to New Delhi. Oh my goodness me. This is wild. Right, so smoothie. We're just going to run along right now just in case there's anything that I need smoothing out. I think it starts to become smoothie time when you get to the hills here. There we go. There we go. Not too much smoothie that it takes away from the mountains and the hills. There we go. So we are still continuing straight forward then, right? So, doesn't want to create any bridges there, which is fine. So I like building it in smaller segments because it allows us to kind of have a little bit more control of over the landscape. So, there we go, there we go. This is a very straight line. And at what point are we bending it down? Oh, we've actually got even further to go. So basically, keep going straight until it changes to this style of terrain. Right, got ya. This, what could we even call this line anyway? It's like, as it's something they're going all through the mountains. Right, oh, a couple of bridges there. Change those styles. Thank you very much, thank you very much. All right, try and build the double lines as we go in. So now it's going to get very, very bumpy and very, very rocky. So let's see, because you're going to get a few tunnels out of these anyway. So they become tunnels over bridges. Which we'll take those. We'll take those. Got to wait for the autosave to kick in again. So we've gone from tunnels. Sorry, we've gone from bridges to tunnels. Alright. There we go. And the terrain's just going to change over there. So now we're in like a really snowy area. So that is... Any bridges? Nope. Just a tunnel. We could definitely get multiple cargo trains on the go on this line. Because of the sheer distance, it just completely makes sense. I think we'll also have to transform our oil lines as well that lead up to where the fuel is. That is a long line. Oh my goodness me. All this to get fuel in New Delhi? So we kind of need to turn, and I reckon it makes sense to run like almost diagonal with the brow of the mountains. It kind of does. But we've kind of ignored a lot of the mountains to a certain extent. We've ignored their topography and all that kind of jazz. A few bridges there. We haven't really ran with them. We just kind of decided to run in a straight line, which is not a problem. But we have to kind of follow the topography. Now, we've got to figure out where we're running with this and where it's going to be turning. So it's a case of running straight lines. Obviously, that would be amazing, but it never normally works out like that. So that's going to kind of bend out. We're going to make it go through up here. Now, do I make it go through the village, the town here? Leading up. It's very rocky and very bumpy, isn't it? Right, let's see what we can do here then. So if I kind of went for a little bit of a diagonal, we're going to try and see if we can do like a swooping bend. So if we go to about there. Now this wants to do a couple of little bridges every so often. Obviously we've got to change the speed of them. I won't do a tunnel there, won't do a tunnel there. Won't do one there. And then we'll keep it like that. Now, we'll push back to just here. So the further we push back, the wider this bend is potentially going to become. So selecting new. And it can maintain, as I slowly choke, its 300 mile an hour speed limit. I mean, the train will never get to that speed, okay? It will never get to that speed. But on the off chance we have fuel hurtling down this line at 300 miles an hour, we have the option to go at that speed. So let me now just kind of quickly... I don't want to eat up too much or smoothen too much of the mountains. But I just want to kind of make it look like somebody actually went through here with a big excavator and mined it all out. Well, that bends gloriously. It really does. And then we've got to bring it down here somehow. So my options are either... I mean, because it goes up such a big hill, I can make this go into a tunnel. That tunnel's under the town, then pops back up. But it's just figuring out where that's going to run. So, for example, this line's going to come out. It's going to chug along. And then it's going to get to about here with the double line situation. Okay? That's what it's ultimately going to do. Now, if I ran this, because the gradient of the hill goes up a lot quicker, that's how it's going to turn out. Now, I could choose to kind of keep it underground a little bit longer. So that all remains underground, okay? All remains underground. Which, again, keeping it in a straight line. We've got to get it. I mean, oh, the bend and the connections here. So we'll bring this as far forward as you can. Then we'll force another little bend to sweep in. So that then is no longer underground at that point. So bringing this back again. We could make it choose to appear on the crossroads there, which is not a bad... But then it goes straight back into a tunnel, so I don't know whether... Just kind of keep this whole thing underground. So let me delete... Right, this is difficult to now implement, isn't it? It's easier said than done, this. It really is. Right, where's the snap? So I'm trying to keep it underground as much as I can. But it never really works out like that. So that's a straight line. So at what point do I make it breathe some air? So it stays all underground here. Which, again, I don't mind it too much. But at some point, we've got to make it pop up and out. So if I'm to bring it, say, to the ground here, it wants to cause a fair few amount of bridges. So we'll get rid of you as a bridge. We'll get rid of you. We'll turn you into one. And then we'll turn these two into bridges. And then confirm that. So, we'll just quickly, run this all the way up. Where is it gone? There it is. There it is, boys. Oh, there's collisions, apparently. Where's the collisions? Right, run you along. Run you along. Run you along, and then smoothing out some of the issues. And then we've got to get this to bend. So the bend on this, I'm probably looking at just after the bridge. Is where we're ultimately going to run this. So that... Oh, it does slow down a bit. So it looks like we're actually going back a bit further. Like I said, we'll never get to 300. But that maintains its 300, obviously, providing we update the bridges. Right. There we go. And then confirm you. So basically, with that now all implemented, I can now run a fuel train all the way to New Delhi. Isn't that ridiculous? It just seems ridiculous. Now, we're going to have to bring in the cargo train line. Now, obviously, at this point, it's slowing down. So you don't mind too much if it's not the right speed limit. You don't mind too much. Now, a bit of a dead space here. So this is where we implement our crisscross. And for the sake of having to... Oh, can I not do it on there? Why can't I view... Have I got to configure it to upgrade it? Why can't I upgrade that to the station to high speed? I mean, it doesn't matter anyway. It's just more... At the station point, it's more of a cosmetic thing. Because it doesn't really matter. Because they're not going to be doing 300 miles or even high speed. They're literally stopping stationary at the station. So, as wild as this now looks, we're kind of done. Okay, I'm going to bring this out a bit more. I could play around with that road to make it a little bit smoother as a connection. So let me do that. That is a lot better. We need to upgrade it to have the tram track on it. There we go. So you get a few small little buildings kind of connecting there. And as of right now, that's technically all we need it to do, right? It's such a stupid line, that is. It's so big. But we can now get it to do what it needs to do. So if I add a new line in, and then we go here, and then we bring it all the way to New Delhi, the world's longest line that I have right now. Where is New Delhi? Here. And get them to utilize both sides of the train tracks. And we'll change it to orange, the color of the fuel in the game, boys. Color of the fuel. Let's wait for this damn autosave to kick in, baby. Any moment now. Very good, very good, very good. And we'll set up as well. I'm going to do it over here. I'm going to set up the rail depot. And there's a really important reason for this. Because it will go on the way to the fuel refinery. Which will allow me, or allow the fuel refinery enough time to produce enough fuel. What do you mean the slope is too much? Right, I'm going to cut in there and then cut in there. Right, there we go. Yeah, allow enough time to produce enough fuel so it's a full load on the way back. Now, obviously we've got to implement signals. We'll get onto that as we add in our second train. But we're going to set up our first one to begin with. And then we're going to have to completely transform these current oil lines to bring more refined oil over. So let me buy a train, and diesel, I want the fastest one I've currently got, which is you. Doesn't mean anything, because I can only go as fast as what the wagon can go, which is 120. Now, if I add a large capacity of 306 and pull it on that brand new line 14, which I've got to name it, by doing that alone, it should now allow us, or allow these, to start producing fuel. So we should see at line 14, these, like I said, producing fuel. Now, are they going to? Is the question. Yes, now we're getting fuel on the line. So, while we wait for all that then... Oh, I got to drop a signal there, by the way, because I missed it. While we're waiting for that now to happen, we're going to have to bulk up these getting enough oil. Now, this train here, which is part of the cab to Dow oil, has 2 trains on the line, and it goes back and forth from these sides. There is a lot of oil on these platforms, so these 2 trains, we're going to manage the vehicles, right? Oh, no, that's the wrong line, isn't it? Sorry, it's the cab to Dow oil, right? The one that goes up? Yes. We're going to manage these vehicles, and we're going to replace them. Now, they have 20 carriages on of, it looks like these ones. It could actually be like an earlier version of it. We'll put this diesel train up, which you could argue it's not the best of pulling power diesels, but, you know, there's better ones out there, but it doesn't really matter too much. Add a bunch of tankers to them. And we'll go 300 capacity as well. And replace both of them. Now, we need the trains going back and forth here delivering the oil to also be upgraded, which will be the Kabul crude oil line. Manage these and replace them, and we'll pretty much create the same trains. 306 capacity, which is way more and way over the top than what I actually need. We'll just see what happens. So here's this train now coming in. It's going to load up, which can carry so much more than it originally could do before. But that bulks up that whole line in general, which we're going to probably triple the amount of money that we make from those lines. Those lines could become our most profitable lines to date. Now, it hasn't really produced much. It doesn't really have much to offer right now, but we've got to increase those transport numbers before anything else. Now, the train chugging along, it should be doing 120, which that's the speed it can go, which is based on the carriages. So once it gets there, we'll probably then duplicate the train and create a secondary one. And this then should start to see the big change that happens in New Delhi, baby. High-speed trains. We're going to duplicate 2 more. Get 2 more high-speed trains on the go. Right, where's that line anyway? The train's here. Once it gets here and loads up, we're then going to duplicate the train. So give that a memento. I wonder how much fuel it's going to take back, though. Eventually, once you get the transport numbers up, it will be producing quite a bit. So where's the train then, boys? I think it's just there, right? Yes. Now, once we unlock better carriages, the train will be able to go a lot faster. Unfortunately, this is just how it is for now. So once it loads up, we'll then duplicate a second one. And how much does it load up? So 89, that's actually not too bad on the way back. But there's a second train now on the go. And these will just keep getting, there's 3 of them in total. So it could be a case of maybe we look towards getting a 3rd train, but it depends on how much we eat through these numbers that we currently have stored here. That will be interesting. That would be real interesting. I mean, that's carrying so much at this point. The finances are going to go through the roof and how much it can actually now make. Right, we'll wait for our first delivery. Oh, I didn't add the signals in. That's why that train's taking so long to even come out right now. Right. Bam. Bam. That now allows that train to come out. I forgot about the signals. I'm not going to lie. Right. It's a high-speed train. It doesn't need to go that far. So I don't know why I'm doing them so close. All right. There we go. So they can be spaced out quite nicely. Because of the sheer distance they got to travel. I'm just randomly dropping them down. Just to give us the most amount of space possible. And then we'll do last set just there, and then we've got that one in just there. So, there are all the signals I need. That train's on the way back. That train's on the way now to go pick up the fuel. And in New Delhi, right, chart-wise, you can see the big growth that's happened recently. With everything that we've implemented as of late, is going to grow even bigger. Now, what's going to happen next is, because we've the numbers based on this percentage of multiplier. So 270 plus 100 is 370, minus 20 equals 350. So that's the percentage boost of the target population, and that gives us that number of what the city can grow to. Now, all of a sudden, we're going to get a fuel supply. So that will increase it by a couple of more percent as well, which changes the whole base multiplier, which, like I said, that's what makes the town grow through the roof. Now, the reason New Delhi is not being able to reach the 3,000 mark is because of this river in the middle. It has a radius of where it can build, and the most of its building land has a river in. So that's why it can't fully reach its full potential yet. So you just got to play the waiting game. That's all we can do. Is there a lot of people waiting here, by the way? Yes. What about over here? Now, that line, what train's on this? Is it worth replacing it with like a... what diesel trains have we got? If we do it by capacity... Oh, we got the Inner City 125 right now, which does 124 capacity. What's this? The price difference a year, though, is wild. Let's do the Inner City one. Let's replace it with this. I wonder if it will be able to make the money, though. That will be interesting. So there's that train. There's the 125, boys. That's a better... It's a better visually looking train, though, isn't it? But we'll see if it can actually... you know, make enough money for itself. But here's the train coming in right now with the 89 fuel. That train's on the way down. There is currently... Ooh, that's going to be close to being a full train on the way back. We're still producing like crazy. And where's New Delhi right now? Has that train made its way in yet? The train's on its way in right now. So nowhere near a full capacity, nowhere near half capacity. It's basically a third capacity, if that, okay? No, it's over a third. It's over a third capacity. So how much money does it make on a third capacity? That's what we're going to find out next. Third capacity? 10 million. So that's going to make 30 million a trip. That's ridiculous. Now, it would give New Delhi some fuel, only enough for a 10% boost. But the more it delivers, the higher that percentage is going to keep increasing. So we should now eventually, not straight away, but eventually we'll start seeing new buildings popping up as they spend the fuel they've just got delivered. Right. Okay. This is going to be an interesting transformation, boys. It really is going to be an interesting transformation. Now, let's just see what happens. There's some buildings now upgrading more than anything. But could we push 1,500 in our residence size? I mean, you'd have to wait for that next train to make its way back. Now, once we've got a consistent amount of fuel being placed on the platform, that's when we'll look towards getting a third train on the go. Wow, only 36 short of its full capacity. That's amazing. And how are these now looking? Because these should now have the ability to keep producing a bit more. Shipment numbers should increase. We're going to get rid of what's on the current platform. So these trains are definitely making more money. Yeah. A lot more money. What about the normal trains here? I mean, if you look at the line instead. Oh, that's a big jump up for the line money, isn't it? That really is. So, yeah, there you go, New Delhi. There's your fuel. Now, eventually, we'll bring in goods. So the goods need to be delivered on this side. So we'll kind of implement a station around here at some point when we do start producing goods. But at least the fuel is where it needs to be. Now, has it spent much of its fuel? It spent some. It's also using some of it to produce some fuel as well, which is interesting. And the city's trying to grow a little bit more. Now, I don't like the fact that it's trying to grow downhill. So I'm thinking we could kind of help it out here. And maybe kind of like just bulk the edge up. Make the road go up so we can create some like mini crossings and whatnot. So if I just run down there with that and then smoothing it. You gonna smooth him, boy? What's going on? You gonna smooth him? There we go. So what I'm gonna try and do is the crisscross is there, so we can kind of get away with the crisscross. But I'm gonna move 2 little crosses there. That road needs to stick out a little bit further, right? Right, so there. Now, it's not perfect. But it allows us now to have a nice little loop going around. That's all it needs to do. That's all it needs to do, to be honest with you. Let it do its worst. Let it do its worst. Right, okay, so we're now ultimately just waiting for that other train to make its way back. Now, they've both crossed one another. How many goods are now waiting? So I don't feel like we're going to be far off being able to implement that third train. Actually, I might get the third train in now. So, manage the vehicle. And where's that current train? It's just there. I'll wait for that to get here. No, do you know what? No, let's just do it. Let's just do it. We've got 3 fuel cargo trains now on the go. That's a big thing for us now. That's a big thing. So that train's going to head out. And where's the other train? Now, will it be able to get past before that other train arrives? Will that train have to slow down for the signal? It's looking very close. It's looking very close. Will it be able to get past before? Yeah, okay, perfect. So that train did not need to slow down one bit. I think it slightly did, though, going around the corner. But it's all okay. So coming in, then. We're about to see. This is going to be easily 25 million it's going to make on this journey, this train. We worked it out to be about 30 million a trip it's going to make. And this should easily be about 25 million. So New Delhi, it's a 20% boost right now with the fuel. But it's about to get a whole lot more. It's about to get more than half of what it needs. Or what it demands. So here it comes in. Dropping off 25 million at least. Oh, wow, 31 million. Okay, that's wild. And damn. So instantly, the majority of it gets sent out to the buildings. This is what we got left over. The number will increase, of course. But that's put us up by now 30%. Give New Delhi time, guys. Give New Delhi time. They're going to go for a huge growth explosion. They really are. They really are right now. I'm scared for them. I really am scared for them. Now, is there any way in which we can kind of expand the platform to increase the reach of this station? You can kind of like throw down, because this is a bit of a dead space behind it, where you can kind of throw down passenger platforms. You can't really go under that bridge. I was trying to kind of go under it, but you can't. But yeah, you can kind of throw down passenger platforms. You can kind of do like little diagonals like this, and then try and squeeze in. And if I just go here with that and get a cargo building, just something small enough to create a connection. Right, you're not going to get anything there with that. What about miscellaneous for this? Not for you. You could go passenger buildings, but how small do you want to go? I could do that there, but it's not enough. It's way too big is what I'm saying. So if I just go cargo building, go really small like you. Or this one. Yeah, we'll go passenger building. Now, granted, it's kind of... It looks a little bit funky. But it adds a larger radius in which the cargo station can now reach. So you're kind of tricking the game into being able to reach more of the city, which would increase the demand, because now all of a sudden the station thinks it reaches more buildings. More buildings means more demand, which would then demand more from the industry. You know what I mean? So, yeah. You got to do what you've got to do, guys, okay? You got to do what you've got to do. Right, cargo trains. One's now leaving. Not filled to the brim. Is that the second one? That's the second one. We got the other one on the way there. So you're still consistently getting the fuel coming in. But they kind of need to be leveled up. I'm not sure what's stopping them from leveling up right now, because they should be in like level up mode. So I'm not sure what's going on. But New Delhi is taking everything out of them. Any goods they've got, New Delhi is taking it, boys. It's stealing it. Stealing it right now. Which is glorious. So what's this? 1,400. I did say it should get it up to 1,500 pretty quick. But 1,400? Look at the charts. Now, I know we keep having growth expansions anyway, but as we add more and more stuff, it just solidifies that upward climb that we're doing. Dramatically solidifies it. It makes you wonder where they're going to put all these buildings. That's when it makes you wonder. And it feels like, you know, is the tram lines going to get overwhelmed? Those outer city tram lines are going to slowly start becoming inner city tram lines. Right, another cargo train coming in. Cha-ching. 28 milli, baby. 50-60% boost now. That is huge. That is huge. Now, do our two tram lines make money? They're only now just starting to make cash, which is interesting. The blue one, that's just recently started making cash as well. So that's real good to see. And what about the train station? So the high-speed train line, finance-wise, is making big money since I added more trains in. We'll probably add another 2 trains in. Let's wait for the autosave. Any moment now. So with the high-speed train line, it's more about just adding and increasing the frequency in which the trains arrive to stations. You're okay. We did change this train over, didn't we? Yeah. So finances, It can support itself, which is interesting. It depends on if the demand's always going to remain there, though. That's the only difference. So that'll go back with a full load on the train. And then we got to start thinking about now is bringing the other towns around it with the passenger lines hooked up to this area. It's a big ask, but we can definitely get there. We can definitely get there. But yeah, this is really fun. I don't know what the end result is going to be for New Delhi. But is it the biggest town in the game now? It is. It is. So the actual size of it is 1,589. Residents, 1,441. It's based on these three numbers. I think it takes like an average. But it's now bigger than Bangalore. Bangalore was my biggest city for ages. Now now New Delhi has overtaken Bangalore. Wild, right? Absolutely wild. So I'm not too sure why these aren't upgrading. They should be upgraded. I'm not sure what's, stopping them from doing so. You can see the ship numbers are kind of going out. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with this. It really would. Anyway, we're going to end it here, guys. Hope you enjoy this. It's our biggest line to date. What's the income now saying? We've had a record income year as of lately, which was 522 million. We've had a $500 million income year. That is wild. That really is. And what is our most profitable line? Could it possibly be? Our new... Oh, no, it's the high-speed train lines, our most profitable one. The brand new fuel to New Delhi is the 4th most profitable line right now. If I can increase the frequency of that, then that would be absolutely wild. It really would. Oh, it's now number 3. It's now number 3. We'll keep our eyes on that. We'll keep our eyes peeled on that, guys, anyway. Hope you did enjoy this. If you did, please smash that like button down below. And until next time, guys, I will see you all soon. So, goodbye.